I first connected with Nick 2 or 3 years ago at Emerald Cup. I've been following his work for many years, but actually haven't met him. Incredibly honored for Nick to be here, and without further ado, I'd like to present Mr. Nicholas Mahmood of Green Soap Gardens. Woo! Woo!
Thank you. You know, it's a real awesome opportunity to be able to be involved in any kind of way to try and influence things in the older ways. So I'm always really thankful for the events and events that put the spin regenerative on it in as a way to draw people into becoming more conscious of what regenerative is and how important it is at least to shift our mindsets. And you can use the term regenerative, but you could also use any term you'd like. Let's not get stuck on what terms mean fully, but let's get on the same page of where that intention is coming from. So to put that term out there, regenerative, it means that we're acknowledging the importance of our relationship to the planet and how important the planet's relationship to life is, and how important it is right now for us to reconnect with the bigger, powerful system that takes care of the planet and stop trying to control it as much as we do as humans. And so I guarantee the most powerful source that feeds the world is much bigger than any single person or any human being or any single species or anything. The biggest power in the world is the union of all the life working together to create strength. And so what we really have to do is reconnect to that source. We have to bring ourselves into that place where we can appreciate the world enough to want to care enough to start the process of changing our consciousness to become more connected to that thing we're also drawn to. So let's take 1 second, and this is a little something I like to do. And by the way, I passed out a bunch of Icy Lotus. Some people, Masonic, he rolled a big one up. It was nice. We got everybody onto this resin train, and I want us all to just use that as a way to connect with one another in this time of real challenge on the planet with human culture. But let's all just take a second. And the best way for me to feel the power of the universe is to close my eyes, especially if I'm inside, because it's not really the place to feel all of it, but you can feel it from anywhere on the planet. If you exist, you feel the power of the earth, indoor or outdoor. Outdoor is way more amplified and there's a lot more potential there. But no matter if you're indoor or outdoor, you can feel the power of the cosmos working on our consciousness. So everybody take a deep breath in through your nose. And then release slowly. And when you breathe in the next time, I want you to think about how when you actually breathe, you pull in everything in the universe. You're pulling in the atmosphere. You're connecting. It's like our piece of connection. It's this place between spiritual and physical, and it's there. And breath is a really good way to bring ourselves into that space. So in the next one, think about that. Think about I'm breathing in the entirety of the cosmos through the sky on the atmosphere of planet Earth. So I came here today to talk about cosmic resin and how to amplify your resin with information that travels from the outer worlds of this universe. And I think there's ways that we can go about our production that will pull that information in more clearly and provide it to our consciousness more easily. And so, how do we do that? Well, like I said, you can feel the power of the universe standing inside, indoors. You can feel it. And you can feel it even more when you stand outside, but if there's cars and there's stuff around, it's diminished. But you get yourself into a position where there's no other distractions besides the workings of this ecology on planet Earth, and you hear that, you're in a state of amplified being. You're capable of raising your consciousness there. And so what we need to do as farmers is spend more time going out there and not as much time worrying about the pH in our soil or what fucking problem I'm having based on what. Actually, we need to just spend more time trying to bring the power of the world that surrounds these gardens back into health. And when that happens, the potential of the health, because it's so amplified for the plants that live in that space, become ultra amplified and much more antenna-like to the information we're all seeking, which is different for everybody, but works through the plant and the resin through consciousness. There's a few plants on this planet that interact with our consciousness in a way that helps us move our consciousness forward. And cannabis has been a part of our culture for thousands of years. And so the resin we're all connected to. Everybody here loves the resin. And the resin has more information if we start becoming more demanding that it's being cared for in environments that are caring for the environment around the growing. And so I tell people, whether you grow indoor, whether you grow in hoops, whatever you want to do, don't lie to yourself and think it's better the more infrastructure it takes for you to grow your crop. Remember, the powerful, most important component is that plant receiving that information. So if you want the information more clearly from the cosmos, you have to seek out the resin that's been grown more in an amplified environment for receiving. So would that be indoor? No. Would it be a greenhouse? No. The most potential that we can find in cannabis will be found in natural cycle, outdoor, full term, from seed growing. And if we focus on that, I guarantee we will amplify the potential of cannabis tenfold in evolution and speed the whole fucking process up to where the information that we need to gather from it comes way quicker. I think that there's information in streaming from the outer worlds at this time that we need to be paying attention to. And I think it's coming through the resin. But what we need to do is pay respect to the original grower of the herb, and that's the earth. And it's not me, you know? And so the way to connect with that, separating the self from wanting to take credit for such a thing, or credit for anything, is just to breathe the sky in again and remember we are connected to this source that's way powerful than us, and the creator is in that, and it's not in somebody who's pushing a brand in the market like I am, you know? I don't have answers. I just have, hopefully, inspiration for you to connect to that place, and then to seek out the resin that's going to serve you in your growth as yourself, becoming hopefully healthier and healthier as you get older and older. So we can live longer and longer and have a bigger, positive, amplified impact on the planet. we do have a relationship with the earth that we need to foster right now, once again, because we're farther from it than we've ever been. So, I want everybody to start growing their own plants from seed. I want them to start breeding. I want them to start collecting their own resins. The most powerful medicine for you is what you participated in the production of. You're not the creator of it. I don't create strains. I am not the creator. We are simple shepherds on the planet with relation. And so I want you all to try some of the, the resin that grows on the mountains is kind of historically the resins that's been the most spiritual in most of the cultures of cannabis. And in some cases, you've had to run away to the mountains to hide from the fallings of Babylon that's happening in the lower lands, and retreat and start taking care of the watershed up high so that you're infiltrating water, increasing water tables and filtration rate. So we want to clean our oceans, start at the tops of the mountains and begin the process of slowing water, sinking water, managing pollution. We can't just bring stuff to the dump and think we've done a good job for the environment because we picked up our shit in the yard. If we created that junk, you might as well leave it in your yard so you have to face the reality of how much shit we use. So I say we got to start learning how to deal with our shit and stop patting ourselves on the back for loading it up in a gas guzzling machine to put it in another spot on planet Earth that's doing the same shit but concentrating that nastiness. So I'm just like, if we all had closer relationships with the garbage we throw out, I think we'd all do much better in not trying to throw that much out. We live out on 80 acres. It's my wife and my kid, and I have another baby on the way. And I just want reality for my kids. I love my family. I love them so much that I want to do whatever I can to show them realistic living on planet Earth. And so we have this information, we have this consciousness. We need to start creating the meditations that help us move further into that space so that we can depend on our relationship to the bigger picture and not need to hear it from somebody's mouth. Because I guarantee you right now, it's not the people who have the answers to the problems. It's the bigger thing that we can't talk to because we can communicate with it, but our physical beings, we are in our physical beings thinking all this weird stuff. We need the resin right now. That's my message. I just wanted to convey the cosmic relationship. I've been paying closer attention to looking at the moon and the stars with my little boy, and he is so influenced by it and so aware of it that it brings me into this realization we have to be like that our whole lives in this form in order to bring humanity into a better place. But I want to give big respect to the people involved in the culture. I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest, a little farther north than I normally get, so I want to pay my respects to the people that are here and the roots that have been here, just hammering it. Kaya, you're holding it down up here. You've made a spot. And so definitely incorporating the story of the indigenous peoples and the indigenous energies that the earth has been receiving here for a long time. It's good to be in the energy of this place. Main message, if you're gonna buy seeds, make sure you figure out who is amplifying their potential. There's a lot of stuff being bred indoors, and not to bag on it, but if you're seeking to grow outdoors, definitely hunt. And I tell people, hey, the most powerful thing you can do is have a seed bank. So what are you gonna spend your money on, more fucking weird juice from a gas station or something that's gonna fucking potentially serve your kids because you put them in the fridge, stored them properly, and they open them up and they're like, wow, look at his fucking dad's seeds from 2022, you know? And it's like whatever, 2050 or something, you know? I can't even imagine what this world's gonna be like, but I hope it gets better. It certainly feels better the more resin I consume that's carrying the messages. And I think there's ways that we can connect with that and connect with each other and support one another too, and understand how challenging it is for a small farm to actually be making differences and not being forced into mega production. As soon as you get forced into mega production, you start being really concerned about your yield per square foot. You're diminishing the potential amplification. The smallest farms are gonna make the best weed, period. We cannot play in the market that exists very well. We have to be supported somehow, some way. So, we have a Patreon, Green Source Gardens. You could just, I don't even know how the shit works, right? My wife is kind of on that. But you could like go to our website and like, or there's probably some way to link to one or the other and check that out. And you know, that's just a place where you can access a lot more information about some of the more particulars, the journeys, the stories of growing weed from seed without any products on a degraded landscape that we've restored and are in a place of pure like bliss with it at this point, just in terms of what it can do. But we can't produce and we can't be forced to make production priority. We have to be forced to make realistic quality priority. And realistic quality, I don't care who you are and all your systems, as soon as you're mechanized and automated, it's different, period. And it's great for certain applications, but if we're talking the best craft potential, we're talking about somebody who's been dedicated their lives to the pursuit and evolution of it season after season. You don't want to put on their shoulders having to grow more than a few hundred pounds. They do a good job with a couple hundred pounds, you know? If they could just lean on that, it wouldn't be an issue. But it costs a certain amount to play all the games. So, you know, we as small farmers are just asking for your support right now. We're saying, hey, we need fucking backup, and it could come through the fans and people who care and believe, or it can come through partnering with bigger corporations, which we might have to all fucking face at some point if this is how it is, you know, because the little guy's got to get out if there's no room for him anymore. And so, hey, everybody's faced with hard decisions in life, but the more support we get, the more likely we're going to stick around. But if we're not supported and we can't pay the bills, we are going to disappear out of the limelight again. We know how to do that, you know? I love sea kayaking on the Sea of Cortez. I can spend months without seeing people. So I dream of that day. I can't wait. And I'm ready for it again. But at the same time, there's work to do. So check it out. Support what you believe in. I'm not pitching you support me. You just support what you believe. But I hope that you can connect with the source, that you can pull the sky into yourself and feel that. Because it's important right now that we trip out on the reality that we're in. So, thanks everybody.
Give those one more time, guys.